All right, let's move on. Thank you. We're getting now to the presidential primaries of between Trump and DeStinky. Ron DeStinky is heating up, and we are here for it. Trump is already kicking off his re-election campaign and bringing the heat to DeSantis. Let's see what he has to say.
Been governor if it wasn't for me, and that's okay. Number one, he wouldn't have gotten the nomination, and number two, he wouldn't have beaten his Democrat opponent. So then when I hear he might run, I consider that very disloyal, but it's not about loyalty. But to me it is. It's always about loyalty, but for a lot of people it's not about loyalty.
Are you surprised to see him?
He's a mob. I love how mobster Trump is. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's badass. Ron DeStinky has nothing on him. Okay, I'll just say it. After seeing him at the funeral, after seeing him at the Diamond funeral, like I was like, my man's kind of back. He needs to. Yeah, he needs to come back and do more of that shit. Straight up. As far as like Ron DeStinky, when he talks about DeSantis and how like he almost lost to Andrew Gillum, it's true. Andrew Gillum was like the up-and-comer in the Democratic Party, propped up by Obama himself, young black man who then turned out to be a fan of doing meth with gay prostitutes at the Fontainebleau.
They all are, man.
Which is
all the best ones.
By the way, I think is awesome. Okay, yeah. I don't have an issue with that.
I'm thinking I gotta try it because it sounds really fun. By how many people are doing it.
I think that makes him the perfect candidate for Florida.
Right, just a man of the people,
and also objectively, still more ethical than whatever the fuck Voldemort did before Ron DeSantis.
Like human trafficking immigrants.
Well, Ron DeSantis, human trafficking immigrants, but I was talking about Rick Scott, who did Medicare fraud. So
we love that. But anyway, DeSantis is actually taking the bait now and responding to Trump. So things are heating up, my friends. This is what I'm living for.
I roll out of bed. I have people attacking me from all angles. It's been happening for many, many years. And if you look at the good thing about it, though, is like if you take a crisis situation like COVID, the good thing about it is when you're an elected executive, you have to make all kinds of decisions. You got to steer that ship. And the good thing is that the people are able to render a judgment on that, whether they reelect you or not. And I'm happy to say, in my case, not only did we win reelection, we won with the highest percentage of the vote that any Republican governor candidate has in the history.
He just fucking torched him with that. Is Ron DeSantis, has he spoken out about the election being fixed?
Well, I mean, he did the election. He did the cops that like went into people's houses and arrested them and stuff. He has talked about it a little bit when he was like riding for Trump.
I just find it funny because he's like, "Oh yeah, I won by the biggest margin ever."
Well,
I was like, the vote works there.
Here's the thing about election fraud, and this is a point that I made many times over, and I think I need to make it again. It's not just Trump that has talked about election fraud. He's not the first, and he will certainly not be the last. Voter fraud is a vehicle, is a propaganda piece that the Republican Party has used historically to undermine the integrity of elections so they can continue justifying voter suppression, like closing polls, closing places where there are, closing polling stations in poorer neighborhoods, black and brown communities specifically, and also implementing like signature verification processes or voter ID laws that also, again, disproportionately stop poorer people from going out to vote, making sure that voting is happening on a work day in the middle of the fucking day. These are all many different ways in which those in positions of power, whether it be Democrat or Republican, have tried to actively stop the working poor from going out and participating in their civic duty. So they will continue to lie about it. It's not just about Trump. It's not the big lie that Trump promoted. I think the liberals kind of fail when they make this a Trump thing. But yeah.
Well,
I digress.
We don't have to worry about that because his new culture war is gas stoves, my friend. Yes.
Which ironic because Florida, majority electric stoves. Florida does not have the same kind of gas infrastructure that California has. The 68% of the country uses electric stoves, and the overwhelming majority of Florida already use electric stoves. They do not use gas stoves. He's just straight up doing this specifically because it's a culture war talking point. It's so fucking stupid.
It's so insane how they construct these things. Like they've created this fiction. I guess there was some research that showed that having gas stoves in your house can make the air really unhealthy.
Yeah,
And-
especially for kids.
And
in
I don't know
particular.
why. Like, why are they just figuring that out? Like, you have an open flame in your house. You're burning gas in your house. Why?
From what I was reading, it's long been suspected, but it was just there was a large study that was just came out recently, and it was specifically about it being behind a lot of childhood asthma.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
well-
a lot of gases like not captured adequately.
Right.
Well, so anyway, they've created this fiction that now liberals are coming for their stoves, and as silly as that sounds, that really is what they're saying.
And then we just added, because I think it needs to be done, no tax permanently on gas stoves. They want your gas stove, and we're not going to let that happen. And we're not even a state. The way Florida was built, a lot of this wasn't even connected to gas lines. You got
They
a lot
want
of
your
He's even
gas
acknowledging
stove.
it. He's acknowledging it. He's acknowledging it.
Yo, I just looked it up. It's even crazier than you said, Hassan.
No, 68% of the entire country, overwhelming majority of Florida, though.
92%
Yeah.
electric stoves.
Wait,
in
it's just
Florida.
It's just in California where we have gas.
California and other like older, I guess like older cities that had gas lights,
Yeah.
that had a pre-built infrastructure for gas, basically kept using gas stoves. And most other more recent developments, more recent like city developments, you just use electric.
Wait, how do they heat their AC and shit?
Electric?
Electric?
Yeah. What do you mean? AC is already electric. What are you talking about?
No, like isn't our central AC like gas powered?
No.
Yes, it is.
AC
It
is
burns gas.
in California, yes.
Yeah.
Your water heater could either be electric or gas. That's okay. So
But the AC.
shouts out to I think it's Climate Town, right? They did a really good video on this. I highly recommend you guys check them out. Climate Town talked about this disparity long time ago, as a matter of fact, before this culture war even heated up. Gas stoves are the entry point into using natural gas as a heating substitute. So like when asked when you ask random people like if their home is powered by gas or electric, they have no idea. But the only place where they do have a preference or the only place where they do actually think about this is gas stoves versus electric stoves. Now, part of that is because electric stoves early on were not as powerful as gas stoves. It, I think, takes like 4 extra minutes to boil water on an electric stove in comparison to a gas stove, which is why the oil and gas industry dumped a lot of money into marketing for many years. The idea that the colloquialism cooking with gas, which is something that I use all the time, I'm sure you've used it before, that was literally a marketing technique by the oil and gas industry. How fucking crazy is that?
That is
That
crazy.
it's been
Well-
it's played such a fundamental role. Like that marketing technique has made its way into our language without us even recognizing it, and it plays a small but still significant role in like people thinking that gas stoves are better than electric, and that's the only thing that that consumers have a preference on. But of course, the oil and gas industry specifically want to maintain their profit margins, and they don't want to change the infrastructure, because if the infrastructure is changed to focus on electricity, then all of a sudden they're gonna lose a lot of revenue.
I thought the gas was fine. I didn't think it was a big deal, like the natural gas issue. I thought it.
For
I
a very
could
long
be
time,
wrong.
it was actually a cleaner alternative.
It
Yes.
burns pretty clean. We have a ton of it here in California. It's
Yeah.
not that expensive because there's so much of it. So I thought that it was actually like a relatively good thing we had going. But am I wrong? Should I be going electric on my stoves?
Induction stoves are better than
Induction?
electric. From what I understand, they're actually literally better than gas as well.
Well, what's better mean?
Better as in like faster.
heat up faster. And
The only difference is
more
like you
evenly
just
and
need like
stuff.
a specific induction wok, for example. Like you can't use the
Right.
same
I think-
kinds of
Yeah.
Okay,
kitchenware.
interesting. Well, I am coming for their stoves. You hear me? But it's because 93% of the people in Florida are not even using gas. It's such a stupid ass fucking virtue signal.
I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm looking at this study, and I think it actually is the highest of any state.
Yeah.
I love
It's
that.
literally the highest.
It's
Yeah.
so easy for them to come out and be like, listen, I'm making the great sacrifice. We're
Right.
not taxing the 5 gas stoves we've sold in the state.
Yeah.
wow.
No, it's just culture war shit, which is ironic though, because like a lot of places where conservatives live actually are like Florida, where the majority of places use electric,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it's like this doesn't even impact them.
Well,
they're just
I-
advocating for like liberals to continue using gas, I guess.
We're redoing our kitchen at my house, and I was adamant about getting gas stoves. They've tried to get me on electric, but I
You're
went
fucking
gas.
duped, dog.
They got you,
fucking
dude.
got you.
I like cooking with gas, baby.
but see, that's the point. Like, if
You know what was my concern?
What?
I was like, I'm gonna get these electric burners, and in 5 to 10 years, these things are gonna be fucking like broken as shit. Because with like tech and all that shit.
Well, I mean,
it's
your
gonna-
gas stove can break too, and especially when your
I feel
gas
like the
stove.
gas stove
Yeah,
lasts
they-
forever.
No, they definitely break. I have a gas stove in my house.
I guess you're right. The burner gets
and it's
all
a
fucked
fucking
up.
it's a melee one too, and it's still fucking broken. It breaks all the goddamn time. Everything breaks. It's just everything is made to break. But there is no. I don't think like gas stoves are particularly better.
Nicole
And especially
says-
less dangerous because if gas stoves break, you can fucking burn your house down. If electric stove breaks, I don't think you have. the
Yeah.
same kind of
That's
problem.
always been what's so interesting to me about in California in particular having so much gas infrastructure and everything is that we get fucking earthquakes here. And when that happens, that's what starts like giant fires all over the place. I remember my family had to
think
have
you-
like an emergency turnoff in the 94 Northridge earthquake because it broke the gas line.
Doesn't
It was-
everybody have an emergency turnoff, or is that a revelation after the Northridge earthquake?
I was so young that I don't know.
Like, I know
just
our-
remember that being like a really scary thing that our family went through after that earthquake.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know that like our house has an earthquake detector,
Like an
where it
automatic
automatically will
turn-off?
close it.
Ours did not.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's a new thing because
Yeah,
since
maybe.
then I think. But yeah, I don't know. This Nicole says that conduction is expensive and requires special cookware. But should I switch? Should I go?
I don't. I mean, the IRA actually has a financial incentive built into it. I'm pretty sure you can get subsidized.
Really?
Yeah,
On the
for
electric?
making a switch to an electric stove.
I think
yeah.
I already bought it. I think I might be fucked on that one.
And aren't they mandating new buildings now in California? Like
I'm
they're
not
phasing
sure.
out-
electric?
I wouldn't be surprised.
At
but
least
I'm not.
for I think it's like because I know there was like a controversy over it because a lot of restaurants, cooks have their preferences and they're much more serious and dedicated to one side or the other. and
Even
they
a
were
lot of
upset about it.
but even a lot of fucking cooks have been paid for by
Really?
the oil- yes.
Oh my
so
God.
there was a marketing
been-
campaign on Instagram from like Instagram chefs. They specifically looked at like different demographics on who was more likely to be duped by this, I guess, and they found out that like young Latinos, like up and coming Latinos, were it was way more effective. So they went after like Latino chefs on Instagram. So Climate Town details this perfectly. Like I said, highly recommend the channel. Highly recommend that video. They're brilliant. But they had like young Latino chefs. They were like, I prefer cooking with gas over electric because it's much better. Like it's more authentic.
Don't more chefs prefer gas though? That's real.
There are a lot of chefs who still prefer gas. I think they like it old school. First of all, no one is a fucking real chef when we talk about this, so they don't need the intricacies. But
Chefs
there
in
are
chat.
a lot of chefs who now also prefer induction. So
Right.
so yeah,
Well, and like
that's
you
I
said,
am
it's
changing as
on-
late,
well.
I'm late on this
electric
discourse.
electric stoves did used to suck. Like
Maybe-
they were inferior, but
yeah.
I think they've improved
Yeah, no,
a lot.
Okay,
that's
okay.
what. Yeah, I agree with that.
I guess I'm late to this convo. So here she is. I am a chef. I prefer gas for controllability. Induction is good, but gets too hot too fast sometimes. But pole pan off induction stove, and the stove will be cold. Electric stays hot for too long. Gas forever, bro. You do not lay your fucking fingers on my gas stove.
I mean, I'm a dirty little gas stove user. You know what I mean? But I am also a normal human being who has no preference or one over the other, and I don't think it will like genuinely impact my life. Also, as a homeowner, we're in a different situation than everyone else. Most people don't make these decisions. Their landlord makes these decisions.
Right, yeah.
It's
I have
not
a
going
gas
to change your
stove
fucking
and
life.
my
You know what I mean?
I see lots of people riding for induction.
Yeah.
I do
I've
like
heard
that.
it's really cool too.
I like that when you take the pan off, it's cold. And I mean, with someone with kids, that's like,
Right.
you know,
That's
the
true.
stove is a scary thing. So that's pretty cool, actually. But
The
purchase has been made.
The only thing that the gas stove has over electric, which is why you will never pry it from my cold dead hands, is that
you can light your
fucking-
cigarettes on it, boy.
Well, no, you toss a tortilla on that bad boy. All of a
Oh,
sudden,
yeah.
ooh, that shit's crispy and like a
Crispy
second.
fried
You ain't
tortilla.
wrong. You ain't wrong.
I mean, but that's that. I do use it for that. I do.
Doomsday preppers prefer gas. That's just given.
Yeah.
How you got the apocalypse? How you going to use induction then?
Yeah,
son?
they also prefer like Iraqi dinar and shit. So I don't think they're making a lot of. I don't think they're making a lot of sense.
They probably prefer propane, right?
What's propane?
Well, I guess,
Gasoline,
yeah.
my brother.
Yep.
Yeah. Get some glizzies on the open flame.
Man, good one, man. And they got another one, man.
Tell you what, man. That dang gas and the freaking at a grill.
Don't have Coleman's
Man,
hair all
couldn't
off to the
come into my
side,
grill
man.
and
Like,
tell them
like,
gas,
my good
man.
side, man.
Good.
Pretty
Gas
sick.
King of the
Stuff
Hill
like
is
that.
coming back.
I was about to
Hulu.
say, yeah.
It is new episode.
Yeah,
Whoa.
greatest slice of life
Actually.
anime of all time. Absolutely incredible shit.
I love that show.
I hope it's not ruined.
Well, is it
Mike Judge also still is a performer
Mike
though. He,
Judge is coming back?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like
all the
team.
original voice actors too.
Yep.
That's great. That's interesting. Yeah, but back to Stinky here. Let's finish this.
But it's just the principle of, this is ridiculous that they do want to go
Oh, God damn it.
after it. They got blowback, so they kind of had to back off. They want to go
What are
after
you
the gas
talking about,
stoves, and so we're
dumbass?
saying, we want you to be able to buy those free of
To
charge.
the 5 people, we want you to be. He's such a fucking dumbass.
It's so transparent that they
Yeah.
are like that he's just trying to create a problem where no such problem exists, specifically for like the culture war narrative. But it's funny. It's funny that they're talking about this. Okay, it's funny that they're talking about this instead of like talking about Joe Brandon's documents, right? Like, which to me immediately points to the reality, the grim reality that the Joe Biden document drama did not work at all.
Didn't
it didn't
use
hit
him enough.
CNN's been talking about that shit way more than Fox News.
I think all the sales got sucked out of the document controversy because it was like, you're finding out now that basically every president is just incompetent and has top secret documents laying around.
But also, like, they're working with the authorities. Like, that was the main difference between Trump and
Well, I
and
thought that
everyone else.
nuance would be lost on Fox News viewers, but apparently they don't care.
Yeah, they just don't give a shit about document mishandling.
So this is all based on this New York Times headline. Gas stoves are tied to health concerns. Here's how to lower your risk. This is the existential threat that Ron DeSantis is worried about. A study published last year found that families who use gas stoves in homes with poor ventilation or without range hoods can blow past the national standard for safe hourly outdoor exposure to nitrogen oxides within just a few minutes. So
it makes our child. It has a likelihood
it.
to increase childhood asthma, the likelihood of childhood asthma occurring.
It is our
guess
God-given
what?
right to expose our children to toxic fumes. God damn it.
Guess what?
What's that?
We're making our children's lungs stronger.
That's
Do you
right.
understand?
Oh, herd immunity.
I believe we need to go back to asbestos as well, and also lead chips in the paint of our children's toys.
I tell
That
you
made
what,
our
boy.
children more dangerous.
I tell you what, boy. That's why I told my wife to drink when she's pregnant, because that's our child, and we do what we want here. I says we gonna drink, and we gonna use gas, and with the hood off, boy, because this is America.
It's like circumcision. You know what I mean? Your pappy had it, so you need to have it too. Do you understand me? It's just like that. I have fetal alcohol syndrome, and so should my child. So we continue the goddamn ritual.
My baby looked like a goddamn hammerhead shark.
Okay.
The fetal alcohol syndrome is a trademark of our family genetics.
How else are we going to continue, breeding conservative generations, okay, without them getting poisoned?
That's right. Actually, early polls have tightening between Trump and DeSantis. But one thing I did want to help Trump out with is that his nicknames for Ron have been incredibly weak.
So far.
Ron DeSanctimonious was just a disaster.
Too much, too mouthy.
Well, we put together a lot of suggestions. Actually, we have a lot of suggestions for Trump. I like Ron DeStinky. That's the one you use. I'll rattle off a few. Ron D's nuts.
No.
Ron dysfunctional. Deep state DeSantis.
I like that. That's a good one.
That's powerful.
Alliteration is always good. Deep state DeSantis.
What about?
He's working with the deep state. You got to say it in the Trump voice.
Yeah.
That one I feel like that one could hit him hard. Deep state DeSantis. Ron depression.
So, wrong DeSantis is one that I've also come up with as well. I see this on the list.
Wait, what? You just said his name.
Wrong.
Oh,
Wrong
wrong.
DeSantis. He's always wrong. Another one is
Wrong.
Rhonda. So
Wrong.
another thing that another avenue that Trump can hit Ron DeSantis on, and this goes to the whole like the boots saga. Remember when he was wearing the boots, and then
Silly
they like,
boots, yeah.
and then they memed it into like wearing like these sexy ass thigh highs, you know?
Silly
Dude,
boots
this-
run.
this
Silly
I
boots
have-
run.
Looking at this picture,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a minute. This is a fashion holocaust.
Yeah, you could like hit the angle of like Rhonda. He wants to be a woman. He's gay. You know, that sort of thing. That would definitely appeal to his audience. Like, he's so feminine. Rhonda. I call him Little Rhonda.
How about Ron? Let's see. Wrong DeSantis when you said Rhonda Deceiver. Ron DeSquintus because he squints. That's a little.
Rhonda Squintus. I don't know. That doesn't hit. Like, I mean, he does squint a lot.
Have you ever seen his eyes, folks? He doesn't have eyes.
He doesn't have eyes. He's a reptile.
Look
What
at him.
color are his
Why are his
eyes?
eyes so closed all the time? Ron de shithead. Ron disgusting. Ron de Satan.
Rhonda Satanist?
Yeah.
Ronda
Decline-
Rousey?
Ron.
Pretty good,
Ronda
right?
Rousey's like a woman.
Ron
Again.
declining poll numbers.
No. it's
Ron
too long.
demonic. Ron disgusting.
Ooh, there's a good one in here that I hadn't thought about. Ron the Rhino.
Yeah,
that's a good
I
one.
like that. He's
That
a
one's
rhino,
powerful.
folks.
Yeah. Ron de single ladies.
He's- what?
Ron de size queen. Wow. Ron deport him. I think that'd probably
That's
make
a
him sound
plus.
good.
Yeah, he's not trying to.
Yeah.
He's not trying to glaze him.
Ron descended stomach because he's fat.
Some of these are so bad.
Ron deteriorate.
No. Ron Theft Auto DeSandrius.
The San Andreas, dude.
Yeah. Ron de no riz.
Ron DeNoriz.
Actually, of all these
no
ones,
riz, folks.
if I'm being serious for a moment here,
Please, I was never not serious. This is a very serious issue.
wait.
If Trump wants to defeat Ron in the Republican primaries,
Deep State Ron is the best one.
Deep State Ron
that
is
one
good.
will destroy him.
I think Little Rhonda, he's so little. He's like a woman. That one's good. Little Rhonda.
I don't know. Like, I know that his voters don't care, but that one alienates some people. Deep State DeSantis is like speaks straight
Yeah, but like
to the
you have to.
conspiratorial.
I know, but like you have
lizard
to like
brain.
you have to find a reason why he's like pro deep state. You know what I mean? And there isn't much because he does like he follows the Trump method really closely. So like he's also portrayed himself as like anti deep state.
Yeah, if you just lie, Trump will just make shit up.
Yeah. I mean, this is a careful one. This is a delicate matter. And
Well, if we've gone over these, you know, sure as hell, Trump's gone all over these.
no, I think he's like he thinks he's so good, like he doesn't need to, but he does.
so?
Like you're not.
Gotta
This
do
is
the homework.
important. This is going to
Yeah.
be really important for
Trump,
him.
like with the NFT shit, like he is not as popping as he once was.
Oh, Ron
So, like,
DeSantis.
Ah.
I think
the
Ron
snooze.
Stinky is good.
Snooze,
You can
people.
also like do some like ethnic hatred there. You could be like, he's Italian, folks. He's stinky. He's not showering. You know how Italians are, or something like that. You know what I mean? I lived in New York. I know how Italians are.
Believe me, folks.
Believe me, folks. Like that kind of thing. You know, because a lot of his audience,
no.
like a lot of his fans, like they. One, even if he shits on them directly, they love that. They're like, "Yeah, we are stinky. You're right," you know. And also, if you're in the South and you're like not Italian, you know what I mean. If you're like Anglo-Saxon, then you could maybe get into that like old anti-Catholic sentiment,
Ron
you know?
Dementia.
old school.
Although Trump's way older, so that's not going to really work. Yeah. Well, there it is, Trump. If you are watching, and I know probably at least one of your dumbass sons is, maybe they could pass a couple of those suggestions on to you for our enjoyment.
Junior's a longtime fan of this show.
He wished
Yeah.
us well on our first
That's
episode.
true. He's been a first day. He's a real one.
Leftovers.
Sure is.
Do you have that,
He's
Zach?
not a bandwagon fan. He's been on
Shout
board.
out to the
Good luck with all of that leftovers.
leftovers.
Talk to you soon.
I wish you well. All right. Well, that's about all we've got.